Hey, my name is Andre, and this is a video about the rally bracket rally setup I made for my KTM 450 EXC 2010 model. Basically, it should work for pretty much any KTM in terms of the mount, possibly some other bikes as well, as long as just the height difference between the lower area and right here is approximately the same. So basically, this is a windshield off a Triumph Tiger, Tiger Explorer 1200, don't remember what year, and I put it through and trimmed it out here. Took a tool and a Dremel type tool and cut out the centerpiece, and then basically modified and plastic welded this lens cover, which is actually from a Touratech light of all things. The lower light is a Baja Squadron Sport with flood lens in it. You can change these out, so you can do flood, you can do upper 2 spot, lower 2 flood, or all spot. And right now I basically have flood, very powerful and very bright. Upper light is a touratech multi-point adjustable. Basically there's a button back here that you can push, and that will adjust the brightness of it. So I'll go ahead and start it and show you what it looks like. See if it'll start. It's kind of cold in here, down here in the basement today. Well, anyways, so high and low beam there. So that's low beam. You can kind of see how bright that is. That's high as the spot from the Touratech. Let's go ahead and try that again. High from the Touratech, or sorry, low from the Squadron, high from the Touratech. So that's how I have it function. Both are very bright and very powerful. And then I also have a switch here on the left that I can actually turn both of them off and on at the same time. So that's kind of cool, so if you really want it super bright. So that was my solution, and why I never put a spot in the lower portion, even though it probably would have been nice. Both are blindingly bright. And then this is a switch that turns off and on the functions. You can see the illumination behind the road book there, so that turns that off and on and basically lets the road book function back and forth. Also turns on the charger. You can see the iPhone just turned on, and there's a Marine Blue Sea. It's actually a West Marine. It's the same exact thing as a Blue Sea, it's just rebranded and maybe $10 cheaper. So it came from West Marine USB, super durable. And then that's a basically a mount that's there to hold the light up. Same with a mount here that's designed to hold this light up. So you can see all that. My personal wiring on my bike is I wouldn't call it rat's nesty, but it's a little bit not quite as organized as I'd like. But that said, this has been super durable. And I ordered these plug and play. I forget the brand. I'll actually put it down in the comments on the YouTube video of where to get it. But it's genuine KTM stuff, so you can build and modify. And it's like, I don't know, $100 or $80 or something like that on eBay for a whole kit of that. eBay is great for aftermarket versions of OEM products, so basically getting it direct from the manufacturer, such as these harnesses, as well as KTM genuine bolts, things like that. So if you wanted to actually have genuine KTM bolts, you could do that. And the whole setup is basically about 8 pounds, really light. So I bought a TIG welder and fabbed all this up. TIG welding is really hard. Since then, I've actually happen to have it right here, so I'll show you. I bought a Miller-Matic spool mate, so I actually use a MIG for aluminum now, and this is this setup, and there's a little bit of aluminum wire. Much easier to weld with MIG, and the setup pricing is about similar as buying like an expensive TIG. There are a couple really good inexpensive TIG options, such as the AHP X200X, which is what I built this thing with. Chinese welder, very high quality, worked great for this project. But if I were to do it again, I would have saved tons and tons of time by not having to teach myself how to TIG, as well as just the time required. So all of this I TIG'd, which isn't bad. Super strong, super durable. This has been through, I don't know, probably half dozen crashes or so. Nothing big, but you know, many like sandy wash drops at 20 mile per hour, 15 mile per hour, things like that. Technical terrain, etc. I'm hoping as I say this, I'm interchanging some cool photos of some of those wrecks. So basically, yeah, the overall brackets, this only weighs like 2.5 pounds. This weighs like 1.5 pounds up high. What keeps everything stable and solid between the upper and lower mount is the strength and girth of this Triumph windshield. So basically I'm using the windshield to keep it all together in one piece rather than adding extra weight, etc. My biggest goal was to keep weight down, to keep it functional, keep it good looking, and also to just generally reduce wind. So you can see if I'm looking here from the front of the bike, that you can see the wind kind of slopes up here, and even here on basically this small Enduro bike, I mean, massive difference. So pretty cool how it all came out. Let me know if you have any questions at all. You can comment or send me an email or whatever you'd like. Oh yeah, last thing, mounting point. So if I did elect, also one huge goal was to be able to remove it in like 6-8 minutes, something like that, because this is basically my #1 bike. I use it for everything: enduro, multi-day camping, you know, things like that, riding it if I need to on the street as a dual sport or on dirt roads, you know, we've entered a couple small local rally races impromptu here in the US, things like that. And so I didn't want to do a hard mount into the frame, even though I could have, but also I was just worried about strength. And there are a couple off-the-shelf products that are a little more expensive, but that will bolt right to the frame, and I think it's maybe a better way to go, but the weight of this thing turned out to be so good that I haven't even really bothered with that. So basically what I elected to do was mount it here. This is a rubberized material with some hose clamps. Same setup as like a Baja Designs, you know, big old 8-inch light. Something that I once had. Works great, and like I said, this has taken a bunch of wrecks, no impacts or markings with the forks, etc. So that's the lower mount, and then the upper mount really only has these 2 bolts, which is maybe hard to see. This is a highway dirt bike's upper mount. That's pretty stock, other than I added just 2 little lights here, drilled holes, and put those in as indicators. So high beam, low beam, so you can see there, that's the high beam indicator, so you can turn that off. And then I also put on a turn signal light indicator as well. And basically there are 2 little bolts up in the front, hard to see, that mount, and that whole upper mount is attached by that. So it's actually designed to be like crash proof if there were an animal or something like that, because this whole thing is so beefy and set as designed by Paul over at Highway Dirt Bikes, that basically you could take a pretty major front impact, like an animal or whatever. This might get crushed, might not. You can see everything is gusseted and strengthened, so it's really strong. And then this lower bracket here into it holds a brake line, as well as having a mount for here. And on this windshield, basically the 2 lower holes are stock. These 2 I did drill. So you know, you do have to do a little bit of modification. I added these orange stickers just to kind of make it look OEM and KTM rally bike like. And it's, you know, in my opinion, super good looking, very functional, very light, low swing weight, not really noticeable. The biggest thing that makes this thing noticeable more than anything else is straight up this heavy ass touratech old school road book. If I went to something lighter, I think that would make a big difference. And also you can see the mount for that. So you can see there's, you know, standard rally or road book style mount, which is basically that big T, also welded in as well. And you can see little holes for wiring and keeping all that organized, etc., etc. So again, let me know if you have any questions at all. Enjoy. See ya.